Hello guys, welcome to the answer writing session. So here I'll be giving you a question and then you work upon that, and then I'll be discussing the answer format and we will see what can be done for that particular question. Okay, don't consider this as a theoretical session. Consider it as a revision session. If you have already attended the coaching and classes and if you have already completed the syllabus, this is going to be beneficial for you. Otherwise, it may demotivate you because I'll quickly go through the areas and I'll discuss the concepts quickly. Okay, so let's look at the question now. See, this is related to villages and André Béteille. Okay, so here is the question. Village was not merely a place where people lived. It had a design in which were, in fact, reflected the basic values of Indian society. So in the light of this statement, give a critical analysis of André Béteille's study on Tanjore village. So this study, Tanjore village study, we have discussed many times. We use this as examples in many cases, especially in paper 2. So we need to talk about this. I hope you already know about the study. So I'm not going to get into the details of the study. So we will try to align our focus with the question which is asked. That's exactly what you need to do also when it comes to the exam. You may be knowing so many things, but that's of no relevance or use when it comes to the particular question which is asked. Okay, so let's start. See guys, Indian villages have often been portrayed as microcosm of Indian society, and that's reflecting its diverse values and social cultures and structures. Right, so you know why it is called as microcosm of Indian society. The villages are microcosm of Indian society, and it represents everything which is connected with the social structures and everything, right? The diverse values, cultures, everything will be reflected. And many scholars have analyzed Indian village through various, angles, various lens. If you see Metcalfe have given understanding, you can talk about nationalists, you can talk about different sociologists, even Gandhi, Ambedkar, all had different opinions about Indian village. So if you see Metcalfe, see villages as autonomous, unchanging, and little republics. So if you look at the PDF that I have given during the class, there I have talked about a lot of studies and understanding of village. But here we will focus on the question, okay? And those who have not attended the classes, if you want to get the PDF, the details are given in the description. Check out that. The PDF is completely free. You can get everything related to the syllabus. Then if you look at the nationalists, they glorified them as the authentic essence of Indian culture. And if you look at Gandhi, celebrated their simplicity, while Dr. Ambedkar critiqued them as centers of exclusion and caste oppression. So my point is there are difference of opinions looking at different perspective. André Béteille's study of Sripuram, that's a village in Tamil Nadu, Tanjore district, actually provide a nuanced perspective, and he examined the complex interplay of class, caste, power. So just like what we discussed in case of Weber, exactly the same way, caste, class, power. Okay, so there it was a different one, class, status, party. So here, instead of status, it is caste. Instead of power, there it is party, here it is power. So that's the only difference. There it was class, status, party. Class comes first there, but caste comes first in India. So class, status, party, caste, class, power. Okay. Instead of status, it is caste. Instead of party, it is power. But class comes first there. Here, caste comes first because caste is more important when it comes to Indian society. So this actually challenging the simplistic or the monolithic understanding of village life. Now let's look at the analysis of Béteille's study of Sripuram village. Let's talk about the physical structure of the village. In fact, Béteille describes Sripuram as divided into 3 distinct segments, each reflecting social hierarchies: the Agraharam, the Cheri, and the Kudiana Street. You know this. There is no point in discussing too much about this. Agraharam, if you see, exclusively for Brahmins, symbolizing that purity and social exclusivity. Only they will be living together over there, right? So Agraharam. Now, non-Brahmins rarely enter the space, and Brahmins avoid visiting lower caste areas like Cheri without ritual purification also. Now, the second one is the Cheri, that is inhibited by the Adi-Dravidas, the lower caste, marginalized both spatially and socially. And this represents the physical and social segregation, limited interaction with upper caste. Right? Then the Kudiana Street, that is occupied by non-Brahmins located between Agraharam and the Cheri. These streets reflect a middle ground in the village hierarchy. So these are the 3 distinctions that in Sripuram village, André Béteille have actually witnessed. The distinct segments, 3 distinct segments: Agraharam, Cheri, and the Kudiana Streets. Now, The caste structure. See, Béteille emphasized the centrality of caste in determining social and economic life. Brahmins own most of the land but refrain from physical labor. Many are, mirasdars, which means landowners. Non-Brahmins, they both own and cultivate land and straddling the middle ground between Brahmins and the Adi-Dravidas. The Adi-Dravidas that they engage in menial work and remain landless. So Béteille notes that caste positions are not static. Factors like education, occupation, and wealth create intra-caste stratification, particularly among the Brahmins and the non-Brahmins. Okay, not the intercaste again. Intra-caste stratification is also there based on education, occupation, and the wealth. Now, coming to economic organization and social class. So, Sripuram's economy actually revolves around rice cultivation supported by irrigation from the Kaveri River. And economic interdependence exists within the caste system. So, Brahmins rely on non Brahmins for agricultural labor, so that economic interdependence is there. And non Brahmins and Adi Dravidas engage in occupations prohibited to Brahmins, also that's reinforcing the functional interdependence. So, the interdependence is there, and that is functional because something which is prohibited for the Brahmins is what they are doing. But land commodification, commoditization, and the external job opportunities have begun to disrupt this traditional economic hierarchies that we discussed in other sessions also. The same thinkers and the concepts you can add over here also. Coming to power and politics, Béteille examines the interplay of caste and class in local politics. The traditional caste hierarchies heavily influence power dynamics. With the advent of parliamentary democracy, caste remained influential but is increasingly mediated by class-based factors like wealth and education is playing a very important role. Béteille insights also reveal the two-way relationship between local politics and the national parties. And the political parties often choose candidates from dominant local caste. Local conflicts align with broader political rivalries also. Now, changing social stratification aspect. Béteille's study highlights the impact of modern influences such as the formal education and non-agrarian employment on caste dynamics. So the caste continues to shape social identity, the rise of class-based stratification that signifies a shift towards modernity, though it's incomplete. Okay, now what are the critical perspectives? You can talk about integration of class, status, and power, the Weber's approach, how it is criticized, we can discuss, and challenging the structural views, right? So all these we can discuss. You see, but they adopt that Weber's approach, analyzing caste, class, and power as overlapping but distinct aspect of stratification. And in traditional societies, these dimensions converge, but in modern context, they begin to diverge. So that's one of the criticism. And then, unlike earlier anthropologists who viewed caste as a rigid and immutable, Béteille emphasizes its fluidity and adaptability. And he acknowledged its external influences like markets and political institutions in reshaping the village hierarchies. So that is challenging the structural views. Then Béteille also highlights the demographic importance of caste in electoral politics, aligning with Rudolph and Rudolph's argument about the caste as a vehicle of political mobilization. That means role of demography in politics, right? Again, Béteille focuses on caste stratification within the village. Ambedkar's critique actually reminds us of the oppressive realities of untouchability and exclusion that persist in Indian villages. So that is something which is you can mention as Ambedkar critique. And then what is Marx's perspective? If you look at from Marx's lens, Sripuram reflects the contradictions of feudal agrarian economies, where land ownership perpetuates that kind of exploitation. So any of those criticisms, couple of which you can write. So the conclusion, André Béteille's study of Sripuram challenges simplistic portrayal of Indian villages as either idealistic or oppressive or monolithic, etc. And his analysis of caste, class, and power that reveals a complex social fabric which is influenced by both tradition and modernity. So the caste remains central to village life, but Béteille's work underscores the transformative potential of education, economic mobility, and the democratic participation. And his studies serve as a crucial reminder that Indian villages are not isolated but dynamic entities and continually shaped by internal hierarchies and also the external factors. So this is how you need to answer the given question. If I need to talk about village studies and entire study of Béteille, that I need to discuss a lot, but we stick to the discussion. That's why I told you, consider it as a revision. If you have already learned, if you have not learned this topic, then this is not going to benefit you because I will not be able to discuss too much because it's a 1 hour session at least, which is required to take this topic. So Thank you for watching the session. And if you like the video, share it with your friends. If you're looking for the course or mentorship or test series, check the links in the which is given in the description. The details are there, and you can get in touch with us also. So see you guys in the next session. Thank you so much.